So, you want to start a podcast in 2025, but you don't know what gear to get. Don't go anywhere. I've got all the gear recommendations for you. Let's start by clearing off my desk here. All right, that's better. So what do you actually need to start a podcast? Well, you need three main things. You need a microphone, you need headphones or a way to listen to it, and you need a computer or a way to upload it. The cheapest and easiest way to start a podcast, which most of you already own, is right here, is your cell phone. This thing's got a built-in microphone, speakers so you can hear it back, and you can edit and upload right from your phone. The one recommendation I have is your microphone's down here on the bottom. Hold it up to your mouth like a TV reporter. Don't just set it on the table or use AirPods. Use it like a microphone, talk into it, and you can start a podcast with just your phone. But you didn't come here because you want to start a podcast from your phone. You came here because you want to know the best gear to start a real podcast. So let's get into it. First things first is your microphone. As you can see, I'm talking into one right here. There's two basic types of microphone connections. There's USB connections and there's XLR. USB microphones will plug in straight to your computer, requiring no extra interfaces or DACs or anything else plugged into your computer. However, XLR microphones, which do require an audio interface or a DAC, a digital to analog converter, these will give you better sound quality. And these are typically what I recommend for people that really want to start a serious podcast and know that they're in this for the long haul. So I have three different mic recommendations for you. One of them is a combo USB XLR mic, and the other two are just XLR mics. The first mic I recommend is the Fifine AM8. This is a combo XLR and USB mic, as you can see right here. You have your XLR interface, USB-C port, and a headphone jack for monitoring. It's great because you can start off with USB, you plug it right into your computer like that, and you even get some nice RGB lights that light up when it's plugged in. And then when you are ready to upgrade to an XLR interface, something that can take this input, you can just plug an XLR cable in and you're good to go with the same exact mic. That's exactly what I did. I started off in USB mode and now I run it in XLR. So that is the Fifine AM8T. It is around $50, and this is my budget recommendation for a podcast microphone. My next recommendation for a microphone is actually the one that you've been listening to this entire time. That is the Rode PodMic. As you can see, this is also an XLR microphone. Rode does also make a USB PodMic that also accepts XLR interfaces. However, my one experience with these microphones did not go well, and I ended up returning it for just a standard XLR pod mic. So for that reason, I'm going to stick with my recommendation for the XLR pod mic, and it's half the price. The pod mic comes in around $99, give or take, depending on when you're seeing this video. And it's kind of designed for the podcast sound given by the name, the Rode PodMic. It has a built-in pop filter, so you don't need any external ones. But if you like and want to mix it up, you can get external pop filters from Rode that just slide on the microphone like that. And now you've got an extra pop of color to your image. As you can see, this pink is not really for me. That's for another podcast filmed in this studio. So let's take this off. I really enjoy the sound that comes out of the Rode PodMic, and it is typically what I recommend to all of my podcast clients. You cannot go wrong with this microphone. My third and final recommendation for a podcast mic would be the Shure SM7B. Now, I don't have one on hand with me today, but these are the most tried and true podcast mic. You look at any big podcaster and most likely they're using the Shure SM7B. However, they are quite a bit more expensive than the previous two options, which is why my main recommendation for most people starting would be the Rode PodMic, coming in around $99. Now that you have yourself a microphone, you need a way to connect it to your computer. If you got the USB microphone like the Fifine AM8, then you can plug it straight in. If you got an XLR microphone, then you're going to need what's called an audio interface, and this will allow your XLR microphone to connect to your computer. For this, I recommend something like the Focusrite Scarlett. This is the Scarlett Solo, which accepts one mic input, but for most podcasters, I would recommend the Scarlett Focusrite 2i2 or maybe even 4i4. The 2i2 allows you 2 mic inputs and 4i4 allows you 4 mic inputs. This way, if you want to have guests on or maybe even a party of people up to 4 people, you can all have nice microphones plugged into your Focusrite Scarlett. I currently have this Rode PodMic plugged into a Scarlett 2i2 3rd gen, which is allowing me to get this sound that you're hearing right now. Now, if you're not balling on a budget, then I would recommend the Rodecaster series. They have a Rodecaster Duo and a Rodecaster Pro, which just allows you for more mic inputs depending on which one you get. It has customizable buttons and faders so that you can adjust each person's audio individually. But once again, for the average person wanting to start a podcast, I would recommend something like the Focusrite Scarlett, as it's going to come in close to a quarter of the price. Well, with something like the Focusrite and even the Rodecaster, you get what's called direct monitoring. This allows you to plug in headphones into your audio interface and hear what your mic is hearing in real time with no delay. Now, the best pair of headphones for monitoring and listening to podcast audio that you may have laying around is the old pair of Apple EarPods. This is the 3.5 millimeter version, as you can see, not Lightning. And you can plug these right into your audio interface and listen to what your mic is hearing in real time. You know, you even get your fancy little chin keeper, make you look cool. Something to remember with the Focusrite is the headphone input uses what's called a 1/4-inch jack, which looks like this, similar to what you would plug into an amplifier or into an electric guitar. You can get an adapter on Amazon, or most pair of studio headphones come with this adapter already, but get this little adapter, plug it into your Apple headphones, and boom, you're ready to monitor audio. Now, if you want something a little more professional that sounds a little bit better, my next up recommendation would be the Audio-Technica M20X. These are a slightly more budget version of the very popular Audio-Technica M50X, but they still have amazing sound quality. The one thing I see the difference in is definitely the build quality. They're definitely more of a plasticky feel, not as high quality. The ear cups like to flip around like that a lot, but the sound quality, perfect. This is what is actually used in this studio. It came with this adapter right here. So when I put these on, I can now hear what my mic is hearing in real time. And theoretically, this should give you better audio quality because you know how far and close you are from the mic. For example, sometimes you'll be on your podcast, you get excited and you start talking and you get breathy and poppy. You don't want that. When you're monitoring, you can tell from out here that you got good sound. And so these headphones come in around $50. These are my budget recommendation into studio headphones. These are a true studio headphone. You have a nice long cord, more cord than you can ever know what to do with these headphones. So you can get nice and far away. And that is the Audio-Technica M20X. My high-end recommendation is right here. This is the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro. So these are closed back studio headphones, and these are my personal editing, mixing, mastering, podcasting, gaming headphone. These are my all-around use headphone. Now, these are a little pricier than the other options, coming in around $160, $170-ish dollars, depending on what version you get. But I think you get such a better sound quality, such a better build quality, such a better experience all around with a headphone like this, that to me, as someone that works with audio all day long, is definitely worth it. But these are my recommendation for the high-end headphone for podcast monitoring, podcast audio, and if you just want a good pair of headphones overall, you cannot go wrong with the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro. And if you don't like the closed back design and you want an open back so you can hear the world around you, check out the DT990 Pro, essentially same headphone, just open back design. So we have your mic, we've got your audio interface, and we have your headphones. That's essentially everything you need to start recording audio for a podcast. But what if you want a video podcast? Well, you need a lot more gear than just a microphone and headphones for that. First up, let's start with the camera. The big thing that separates an audio podcast from a video podcast is video. So in order to take video, you need a camera. The best camera that most people already own is right here. It's your phone. Especially if you have a Mac computer, this can connect wirelessly directly to your Mac as a webcam. Well, that's great, but what if you need your phone while you're recording for, I don't know why you need your phone, you may just need it. Well, in that case, I recommend the Sony ZV-E10. That is actually the exact camera that this entire video has been recorded on. You can get 4K 30 frames per second or 1080p 120 frames per second for that super slow-mo. It has a webcam functionality, so you can plug it directly into your computer. However, it only streams in 720p when you use that functionality. If you want to send 1080p or 4K video to your computer for recording, then I recommend picking up the Elgato Camlink. This is essentially a capture card just for a camera that turns any camera into a webcam, essentially. You just plug your HDMI cord into it and the other side of the HDMI cord into your camera, and then the USB goes into your computer and your computer recognizes it just like any webcam. And that's actually the exact system I'm using for recording this video. But you'll only look as good as your lights. Let me show you what I mean. This is what my podcast studio lighting looks like right here. And this is what my house lights look like with just the normal room lights turned on. So as you can see, having dedicated video lights makes a big difference. So for lighting, the biggest thing, the most important thing starting out is just getting light on your face. And that's gonna be hard to get used to, especially if you're not really used to being on camera and not used to having lights in your face. For the budget recommendation, I recommend any of the cheap Amazon LED panels. These can typically be found for around $10 to $15, maybe $20 for a 3-pack sometimes. And they're just cheap, as it says, LED photography light on it. It's just a cheap little panel light. Put this up on your desk behind your camera, a little offset from your camera, 45 degrees if you want to get artsy. And then you can just turn it on. I'm about to blast myself in the face with it. There we go. I've got it on pretty low, but you can turn these up. There we go. So you can turn these up pretty bright, as you can see. And so these are what I would recommend for starting out. Get a couple of these, throw these up on your desk. You see it's got this little diffuser that comes on it. So you can take this guy off and you got a little soft, a little harsher light, but I recommend to always diffuse your light. Soft light is what you want. Soft light will take away the wrinkles from your skin. Soft light makes you look prettier. Soft light is the cure to everything. It really is. Hard light is your worst enemy if you want to be on camera, unless you're going for a very specific creative look. There we go. Got the diffuser back in there. And I like to keep this a little bit off camera, just very lightly shining a little light over here. So that's my recommendation for the budget key light. Next, I would recommend the Neewer FS150B. Yeah, that's what it's called. I had to check real quick. That's actually the light I have right here, and I've got a parabolic softbox on it with a grid to give me this nice soft even lighting right here on my face. This is what's called a cob light or a chip on board light, and it does require a light stand separately, and if you want what's called a softbox on it, that also comes separate. So this is gonna be closer to $200-ish for the total setup, maybe a little more, but this will give you the best light possible. And really, if you're interested in making videos, filmmaking, anything like that, all you need is one really good light and you're good to go. If you want something a little more in between the cheap $15 LED panel and the total cob softbox expensive light, I would recommend something like the Elgato Key Light or Elgato Key Light Mini, Elgato Key Light Neo, any of those from Elgato. Elgato is kind of like the Apple of the streaming and video recording world. They have an ecosystem that's really easy to fall into and then hard to get out of. With the Key Light specifically, it gives you the app that allows you to turn on the light from your computer or phone, turn the brightness up and the temperature, so how blue or orange the light looks. These are great for people that don't want to get a full cob light with a softbox that takes up close to 3 feet of space. My softbox is that wide right here next to my face. So the little Elgato key lights are way smaller, and it gives you the ability to customize your light from different devices without having to stand up and go around and click the light on. Which I will say, the Neewer light does also have an app that gives you the same kind of control, but for a $150 light by itself, you would expect it to come with that. We have your microphone to record your audio. We have your audio interface to connect your microphone to your computer. We have your headphones so that you can hear what your audio sounds like. We have a camera so that we can record what you look like when you're saying it. We have a light so that your face will be lit up when you're recording. That's everything you need. You need to be able to talk so that people can hear you and your voice is captured, sent to your computer. You need to be able to hear it so that you can see if you like it or not. And if you want video, you need a way to talk to a camera. So you need a camera, and you need a way that the camera can see you. So you need a light. After that, you just run everything into your computer and you're good to go. All right, so that's my recommendations for gear to start a podcast in 2025. If you're interested in picking any of the gear up, I have links down below. They are Amazon affiliate links, so any purchases made through the links do help support the channel and they're greatly appreciated. Leave a comment, tell me what you want to see a video on next, and I'll see you in the next one.